Hi, my name is Michelle Blackwell. I'm currently studying to become a chartered legal executive. I've been doing the level 6 apprenticeship for 3 years now. Um, and essentially, I started on a level 3 apprenticeship for the first 2 years and then progressed onto a level 6 apprenticeship. So at the end of my apprenticeship, which is due to finish next September, I'll be a chartered legal executive. As it stands, I'm currently working as a paralegal at Bevan Britton. So I assist fee earners with the daily conduct of a range of litigated cases and help. We basically work in the medical negligence profession. So we defend any medical claims that claimants bring against doctors. So as a chartered legal executive apprenticeship, I work alongside many experienced legal professionals and I assist on about 60 active cases. My daily workload is very varied. It can range from drafting legal documents to attending conferences, liaising with our witnesses, speaking to experts and getting expert reports to advise the clients. So we are also very focused on being client driven and ensuring that they're kept up to date in what's happening in the case as well. I really like the fact that my apprenticeship is very flexible. So I've always had 1 day per week for studying. And up until now, that was for my exams. But now that I've finished my exams, I'm now preparing a portfolio of work to submit before I qualify. But as I said, it's very flexible. I can change my study day depending on my caseload, depending on what I have on during my working week. And I can even, Bevan Britton are really nice in that I can even split it into afternoons or just anything that works around my workload. So it has been very beneficial to me to be able to have that good balance. The recruitment process, so I got my apprenticeship through Vision Apprentices, but I think I'm pretty sure you can apply through the government website as well. I essentially applied through an online application form, and then Vision Apprentices got in contact with me. I had a telephone interview initially, and then they put me forward for a few more online assessments. So I think I had a maths test and an English test, and then I was invited back for an assessment day at Bevan Britton. So the assessment day consisted of me meeting with a group of other candidates. We had an initial group interview. I think the assessment that we had on the day was we were in a group and we had to decide if we were stranded on a desert island, what 3 items would be picked from a list of items. I think from a recruitment perspective, they are very interested to see how you cooperate with other people. So I would just say, try to be clear with your communication, try to be confident, try and get your point across, but also give other people in your group time to listen and share ideas and make sure that everyone is, contributing to the task. I think it really shows if you come across really friendly and that you're, just excited to be there on the day and things like that and be, very, very positive. So after the initial group assessment, we then went into individual interviews, and that was kind of like the standard interview process. And my tips for that as well would be to just be very prepared, very confident on the day. Ensure that you ask questions back and you're fully engaged in the process. So I always try and make sure that when they ask you at the end, if you have any questions, I try to get something across that would make me seem interested in the company. So maybe like, what's your usual day-to-day working day like, or what's the progression opportunities in the firm, just so it seems that you're a bit more interested in the firm itself, and maybe that you've even done some research, found out some interesting facts and you want to know more about that. So I would definitely just try and be prepared for the interview, but don't get too nervous about it, because I think that can come across as well. So just try and be as confident as possible and ensure you're prepared. And then after the individual interviews, I then went on to have a written test on the day as well. So it was quite an intense recruitment process. I originally also applied for university and apprenticeships. Initially, the apprenticeships were as a backup because I'd always been pushed towards doing the traditional route of going to university and getting a law degree. But then after speaking to quite a few people who had law degrees, who were coming out of university applying for training contracts, I realised it was a very competitive market to be in, and that and that training contracts are very difficult to get. So I really wanted to also make sure that I had the experience and that it was the career that I wanted to go into. So I thought, you know, the idea of working on the job and having that flexibility to learn while you essentially earn, I thought that was a really good way to get into the profession. And I feel like it has paid off because my firm have kept me on and are willing to pay for the rest of my qualifications to get qualified. And this would also, you know, go alongside somebody my age coming out of university who would now be applying for a training contract, whereas I've got 5 years worth of experience within the legal sector. So I do feel like it has massively benefited me, and the opportunities that I've had as well have just been amazing in comparison to I might not have had them at university. So as I said, you know, there are so many benefits to an apprenticeship. You get industry experience in your chosen field. Even if you're not interested in a law degree, there's so many different apprenticeships now that you can undertake. You know, you get your foot through the door of a company, you're getting the experience to make sure that this is actually the career you want to be in, and you're working alongside professionals who can give you, you know, their spin on things, their experience, their take on their career and how they progressed. And I feel like that is also very beneficial because they have real world experience, so they can tell you things that didn't go so well in their career, or they can advise you what they think would be good for you. So yeah, I would definitely say the experience side of it is really, really beneficial. On top of that, you don't get the university debt. A lot of firms and a lot of companies will just pay for your qualifications to get fully qualified. You get a wage and the flexibility, as I said earlier, of learning while you are on the job. In my particular apprenticeship, I will be qualifying as a chartered legal executive, and then I'm also discussing at the moment prospects to qualify as a solicitor. So once I'm chartered, there is a route for progression to get to a solicitor. I think it's using the super exam now, so I think the previous route will now be out of date. But yeah, so there is and also with my particular route as a chartered legal executive, there are also routes to become a barrister or a partner if you don't actually want to qualify as a solicitor. So there are so many different options now. It's not just one size fits all. So I think apprenticeships are particularly great because of the competitive salary while avoiding university debt. As I said, you get transferable skills, recognition from your employer. I've also had the experience of getting recognition for my work in national awards, which has been an amazing opportunity as well. You also have a range of company benefits and perks. I know a lot of companies do, you know, health incentives or do gym memberships and things like that. You've got annual leave. So I personally don't feel like I've missed out on the university experience because I've been able to travel from my wages, and I've gone to so many different places, which I might not have even been able to afford if I'd have gone to university. I also have the time off so I could still go and see my friends at university and have that experience anyway. So I also have had, as I said, a range of different exciting challenges and new opportunities. So one of these was, as I mentioned earlier, I was recognised for a lot of a few awards as well at the national level, and this then led me to become involved in the government campaign for promoting apprenticeships. It's called the Fire Up Apprenticeships, and you might have seen these sort of Fire Up posters around. They did 2 different launches, so they also did a TV campaign, which I was really lucky to be a part of, and yeah, it was just a really, really good experience. So my advice to others would be to try and get as much experience as possible in the field that you do want to go into. So before I undertook my apprenticeship, I actually did a week's work experience at a criminal law firm. And, you know, that was really, really interesting to get that side of things, to see what it was like to be in a law firm day to day. But then it also did make me think, as much as I really enjoyed the criminal law side of things, it wasn't actually the career that I wanted to go into. So then I applied for legal business apprenticeships in corporate firms, and I also applied for clinical negligence, which is where I'm currently in today. So I would also ask your teachers for guidance. If you've got a careers mentor, they're a great place to start as well if you're unsure about what you want to do for your future, or you just want some advice about the particular industry you want to go into, or even just to kind of pick out your strengths and see what works for you and what you think you would want to do in the future. Because I know it is a very difficult time to be, 16, 17, 18 and trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. So I definitely say make an informed decision, get a range of different views, your teachers, parents, friends. If you want to speak to your friends about it as well, that say like, oh, I'm really passionate about this and this might be something that you want to go into. Going on to that, I would say consider your strengths and your passions. What do you enjoy most? What do you get most passionate about? Don't always focus on which is the most highly paid job, because you could get into that career and not enjoy what you're doing day to day. So I'd say definitely, and speaking from experience as well, because I think the money side of things also did attract me to law, but I'm lucky that I do enjoy it day to day. So I would say find something you enjoy first and the money will come after. And in any career, there's always routes for progression, and there's always, if you're really good at something, you will get the money you deserve for it. So yeah, I would just say consider your strengths and passions first. And as I said before, consider all your options before making a decision. So, if you're applying for apprenticeships, keep your options open. If you want to apply for the university route as well, I think that's good to also keep your option open with that. And don't get too disheartened if you don't get the apprenticeship that you applied for first. I think I applied for probably about 10 to 15 apprenticeships when I was originally starting out, and I did go to an assessment day before Bevan Britain as well, which I didn't get. So I think that can always be a bit of a knock of confidence at first, but you can always learn from it and take, I definitely took things that I learned from the assessment day into the assessment day for Bevan Britain. I feel like that did actually really benefit me in getting this role. So yeah, I'd say keep applying, stay positive, and just make sure as well when you're picking your A levels that you pick topics that you enjoy as well, and not just what people expect you to pick or what you think you should pick for the career you need to go into. Do your research, find the career that you do want to go into, and then make your A-level choices off of that, but also think about what you are really good at, because that will really help you, and it will really help you to enjoy the 2 years of A-levels as well, because it can be a very stressful time. So I think the most important thing is to just enjoy yourself and work hard. So thank you so much.